Hello and welcome to Offsite Dirt. It's one of my favorite subject matters. We're getting into the marketplace, and my name is Mark Wille. I'm joined with Audrey. Audrey, what are we diving into today?
We have the most wonderful individual with us, Kelly Adighije. He is with Baumann Consulting, and the focus of this company is really about energy, high performance, decarbonization. But we're going to have Kelly give us a little bit of his background, and then we're going to jump into sustainability, electrification, and some other goodness of how we're building better buildings and making them more energy efficient. So welcome, Kelly. How are you?
Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Mark. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be introduced. Background, 20 years. I think I graduated in 2004. Mechanical engineering, master's degree. Since then, I've been in design, but it's always been in the built environment. Now we do energy audits. We do energy efficiency consulting. We do energy management. We do energy analytics. Everything with energy is basically our wheelhouse, though. So pleasure to be here and looking forward to this discussion.
So Kelly, transparency for the marketplace. You and I have been meeting up at events and trying to push the subject matter in Chicagoland for a great deal of time to
That's
protect
correct.
our ages. I'm not going to tell people how long that's been, but if you're familiar and you want to dive into the website, in case you haven't seen them before, Illinois Green Alliance is one of the most incredible groups when it comes to that basis for what we came from, right? Which was the USGBC, the leadership in energy and environmental design, but
Correct.
also as the marketplace in North America has grown, the Passive House with Passive House Alliance, Passive House Institute, etc. All these things are a culmination, but also the energy providers, right, and the marketplace are helping this adoption. So on a daily basis, the clients and programs you work on, Kelly, can you give people a sneak peek as to the focus of what you do and how it makes that difference?
Yes, of course. I'd love to. Like you mentioned, Illinois Green Alliance is a big proponent of the driving energy efficiency and sustainability in the Chicagoland area. I'm actually on the board of directors just to, for basically full transparency, and I've been there, I think it's my fourth year. It's basically in either the residential market or the commercial market or a mix of the two, either driven by code requirements or either driven by client corporate sustainability requirements, for instance, or certain institutions have a mandate for a certain certification, sustainability certification. So those are all the major drivers. And some clients basically just want to do better in their buildings. I know a lot of architects who just basically put that on. AIA 2030's target basically is about making sure you reduce your design kind of performance as you move further and you use more new technologies. It's all over the place, but essentially to bring everything together is to build better than we have done in the past. And there's so many proponents for such a major effort.
Thank you for bringing that and letting people know about these great organizations. So you have some other really interesting things with your background. You started as a senior mechanical engineer in 2012, leading in the Chicago office. Tell us how many offices you guys have, because we were kind of having this discussion about what you kind of do now. Mostly you're doing certifications, your lead AP, you're doing decarbonization, energy audits. You also have, it was really interesting, we were having a quick conversation about what's happening in Washington, D.C. to then the Chicago market. So if you can elaborate a little bit more about your consulting company and then really the focus of what you're taking with this company, moving it forward, Kelly.
Great question, Audrey. Senior engineer 2012. That is a good 8 years way before that even started, though. But Baumann Consulting is basically a boutique firm. We have offices in Chicago. We have offices in Washington, D.C. We do have presence in New York City as well. And then back home in Germany, where the company's owner actually came from, we have an office in Frankfurt. So what we do is across the two sides of the pond, we work with a slew and a plethora of clients, chasing either energy efficiency consulting or certifications for sustainability or energy analytics, for instance. So we also do something called integrated energy master planning. So it's like an energy analytics, what large scale, kind of scaled up to a community or a city or kind of like a statewide kind of implementation. We have projects where it's an entire university campus or college campus, and they have like a certain decarbonization goal over the next 20, 30 years. And we help them kind of achieve those goals or provide a pathway in terms of how that goal could be achieved and all the different steps that are needed to make that goal possible.
I love what you're talking about. So has your group worked with any like smart cities or any developments? And then when you're talking about the decarbonization, what does that really mean? Are you doing measurements? Are you doing tools? Are you supporting them and letting them know these are the different ways that we are going to be providing these services for you? What does that really mean?
Okay. I'm an example is the city of Holland in Michigan. So they had a goal as a city to actually do a bit of decarbonization and maybe get to a certain net zero or energy efficiency usage. So what we do is we do a lot of, how do I say, we create a lot of scenarios for them. You know, if you're going to remove some coal generating or coal using plants, how do we convert those into a CHP, combined heat and power? How do we include geothermal into that as well? And then we kind of go through stages and steps where we simulate, okay, in 2025, we're going to take these energy consumption systems out and we're going to add these on. What does that look like? And then, you know, into the future, 10 more years from now, maybe they want to build a new hospital. They want to build a new major energy consuming facility. So we plug that into our system and we run a lot of analytics and we say, okay, you can do that, and this is the additional energy that you would need for that, and these are the different sources of where that energy could actually come from. And we also do a carbon calculation to understand whether they're meeting their decarbonization goals by all the different strategies. And there could be a scenario A, scenario B, there could be scenario A plus B. Sometimes you move forward, sometimes you move a little bit backwards, and we work with them throughout the entire process over the number of years, providing them with that data-driven backup for those decision making that has to be done in the future.
So for some of the folks, when you said in the future, some of the phrases you're using are still in the future for them. So when you mentioned the CHP, the combined heat and power, we will be actually having an interview on that. So hang tight.
Okay.
So folks, definitely dive deeper into the combined heat and power, but also you said with the geothermal, and many times the marketplace are looking at district geothermal. So if those terms are new to you, well, that's probably because groups like Baumann and Kelly's team have been implementing them year upon year. And these will be part of your municipal programs again and again. That's a commonality. So in present day, depending on where you're at in that, that's one of your gifts is you guys are meeting your client bases, be it a whole town, right? Or be it a ginormous campus or set of buildings. And you're saying, hey, this information in front of us is how the users of your building are using it. This is how the energy levels of the buildings are, and this is the anticipated costings, right? And these are the procedures we could take now that we have this information to get you to more efficiency. So it takes a unique brain to collect all that. It takes a massive team, and you didn't shortchange us in that. You started it by saying over many years, right? So you're bringing it, and then you're saying this is what's going to happen. So that 50,000 foot view on that, like the dashboard in front of you, the 3 monitors on your desk, Tell us a little story about some of your team and how that is collected and analyzed. Give us that little sneak peek, even if we can't comprehend it.
Okay, I will make an attempt at trying. Baumann Consulting is a very diverse team. We have engineers, we have scientists, we have people who are data, have like a data background, have run massive portfolios. We have recent graduates, we have people who've been 25, 30 years in industry, and we work collaboratively with very, very good teams. I'm talking about from the A&E industry. We have some very, very smart clients as well who are in property management and property engagement. We have PhD people who basically can run analytics at the back, but also our team is very diverse. I like what you mentioned, Mark, about district heating and district cooling systems. In Europe, that's like been standard for 30, 40, 50 years. So it's not even new technology, but it's that campus-driven approach to things. And even when it comes to our engagement with clients, it's always been a very collaborative process with a lot of diversity. Like people in our office are from all over the world. Literally, we hire from everywhere, and everyone always has an opportunity to provide some kind of input or, hey, what about this idea? This is what we do. I think we have someone from Jordan, and they said, oh, in Jordan, this is a particular product that we've used. And we try and bring all of those to the table. Obviously, using also cost-benefit analysis to determine what is fit for purpose. Some things that are applicable in the United States are not applicable in Germany and vice versa. And have like charrettes and, generation of ideas, and it's a lot of vibrancy, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of enthusiasm, and we just put that all on the table and we kind of mind map it, and eventually, surprisingly, we usually come up with a great solution that everybody's like, oh yeah, why didn't we think of that? That's what we could do. This is great. And sometimes clients are like coming in with their great ideas as well, or they're very ambitious and they're pushing their consultants to the max. They're like, no, we want to do better. We want to do better than before. We want to do better than our competitors. And that kind of energy is what we use to generate some of the best solutions that we come up with.
The enthusiasm and the diversity and the acceptance and the excitement that your team not only has, but a company that encompasses that is so unique, Kelly. And the thing that is so wonderful is that I think those are the companies that are going to thrive in the next 20, 30 years. Those are the companies like yours that really have this passion about taking care of our earth and our environment. And it's wonderful to see all these different areas. So when you're looking at the Chicagoland area, are you doing new projects? Are you doing existing projects? What is the staple in the Chicagoland area?
It's a combination of many different factors. We are doing a energy benchmarking for a low-income housing kind of multi-family complex just down in the south side. But at the same time, we have a new building that's coming up. It's not a new building, but it's a major renovation in downtown Chicago. I'm not allowed to name it. We're also working on that as well. We have some brand new buildings for with $2 or $3 or $4 million condos in them that we're also working on. We also have institutional kind of projects as well, where it's portfolio building's 50 years old. We need to build a new building. What we're going to do? Are we going to demo it? Are we going to have a new construction? So, Audrey, it's the entire platform of different types of projects. We also did an airport quite recently as well, too. And they had major gate. This is Aruba Airport. I'm allowed to mention that one. We worked on Aruba Airport as well. They have a huge amount of American tourists coming, and it's growing. So they have a growth plan called Gateway 2030. Where they want to increase the capacity of that airport that was built back in 100 years ago, and bring it up to scratch with the anticipated growth of tourism, which is a huge proponent of their market. So yeah, all over the place. New build, reconstruction, renovation. And finally, the biggest one that's coming up right now is repurposing. Everyone is hearing about what's happening on LaSalle Street, where a lot of offices are now turning into residential kind of like usage, and working with engineering teams and architecture teams and also the government teams or the city teams to repurpose some of these old offices and turn them into residential, which is very complicated, but also awesome to try and figure out how to do.
It's pretty exciting when you can tell us what those projects and goals are. I understand also the ability for clients to want to keep many things private. In the world of energy, sometimes an analysis tells us that we're not as good as we thought we would like to be because, let's face it, Chicagoland in specifically has pretty cheap energy when it comes to other sources, but now their marketplace is mindful of people, planet before profit.
Yeah.
They want to wait until they've reestablished their usage and then be boasting, right? So for folks unaware, energy benchmarking, Chicago's been the leader of that in a long time. And so that comparison allows you to see the changes other buildings have taken on, so that first they're limiting their energy use before they adopt these technologies and specific ways of bringing it forward. And then that repurposing aspect is allowing that building shell to still have that beautiful style and look on the outside, but inside it's functioning different. And presumably they're listening to all the skillful people over at Baumann, and they're saying, okay, now we can have, now that people are living in the building, not just working there for 6 hours, 8 hours a day, they can live in an energy efficient building and have the health benefits of that. So Kelly, your work is incredible. We invite everyone to follow along and to work with the team at Baumann, whether you're in the District of Columbia, whether you're over by there in our over the pond in Germany, and where all your offices are. Kelly's a good friend of ours. We're so happy to have you on Marketplace. And to take us out, can you share with people the aspect that I like about you? You drive yourself personally. This is a passion. This is not just your profession. Wrap us up with a story of you on that. And thank you for joining Offsite Dirt.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Mark. I just think that we need to think about the future. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds, very tree hugging, but no, we want fresh air. We want healthy environments. We live and work and play in all of these environments. And I think it's in everybody's best interest that we continue to preserve what we have so that we don't lose it at some point in time and feel very, very sad or have to deal with further consequences down the street. We all have the next generation. I think every generation's responsibility is to preserve what we have, improve it, so that the next generation can actually benefit from that and the next generation. That's my spill. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Next time I'll wear a suit, okay? Take care, guys. All right. Love
Thank
you all.
you.
Take care.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Mark. We are just sincerely grateful for all of the advancements that you're making in construction. I'm Audree Grubesic. Mark Wille's here as well. And Kelly, we are trying and we are doing and we are moving things forward. Thank you for being here today on Offsite Dirt.